When the end of Eternals hits, it's as if someone picked an enormous white dandelion and blew on it, scattering its seeds all over the universe. If your head is still spinning, you've come to the right place. This is the end of Eternals, explained.
Eternals assemble.
Most of Eternals is concerned with the emergence, an event triggered by the energy expelled when half of the world's population was snapped back into existence in Avengers Endgame. This caused a literal earthquake that once again gave rise to the Deviants, mortal foes of the Eternals, and began triggering a series of events that would lead to the Celestials' newly revealed Long Game, bringing an end to human life through the emergence of Tiamat, a celestial egg planted eons ago who has been feeding off human evolution all this time. To paraphrase one character, all along, the Eternals have been basically farming humans as food for the Celestials. The emergence begins, marked by an exploding volcano and the sight of Tiamat seemingly rising up from the center of the planet. Just as his hand and part of his head begins to emerge, he's turned to marble. At this point, the Eternals are fractured. Icarus has revealed his cruel intentions and that he murdered Ajax, and Sprite has let puppy love get the better of her, joining Icarus in a quest to assist the Celestials as they bring about the end of mankind. Meanwhile, a conflicted Kingo has bailed, and with another recently deceased, that leaves Sersi, Phastos, Druig, and Makari to fight the good fight. As speculated by Phastos, the remaining Eternals can unite their power to create what he calls the Uni-Mind. First introduced by Jack Kirby in 1977's Eternals number 12, the Uni-Mind has served the group over the years as their weapon of choice against the Celestials, so it's only appropriate that they deploy it here. In the comics, the Uni-Mind has often been depicted as a being of light and energy. In the film, the group emanates yellow tendrils of energy that link them together. Since at this point, Sersi is the prime Eternal, she is the principal beneficiary of the Uni-Mind. In the comics, typically only the Prime Eternal can summon it. When Phastos is able to contain Icarus on the beach and Druig delivers a crushing blow to the duplicitous Sprite, it frees up the remaining Eternals to maximize their Uni-Mind potential, stopping the emergence in its tracks and seemingly saving the day. While a lot of this is going on, Thena finds herself grappling with the deviant warlord Crow, presented in this film as being essentially the most powerful deviant. Of course, she's also grappling with issues of mind and memory, as she's been throughout most of the film, only now the audience understands that her memory issues aren't so much an inability to remember as an inability to forget. Crow has a weapon the other deviants do not wield. He can speak, which means he can manipulate. Throughout their epic battle, Crow attempts to confuse and even befriend the Eternal, and as her eyes glaze over, it looks like his tactic might be working. By the end of their confrontation, Thena is wrapped up in Crow's tendrils, about to have her energy drained, much like Ajax before her. But our girl has a trick up her sleeve. At seemingly the last moment, Thena activates her golden spear she wields throughout the film, which doesn't seem to be an object so much as it is a manifestation of her cosmic powers, and slices Crow into several pieces. One of the cool things about this scene is that in the comics, Thena and Crow were romantic partners for thousands of years. It was a relationship that was forbidden since both the Eternals and Deviants are sworn enemies. But if you're aware of such a storyline, the scene probably played even better, because you may have thought there was a chance Crow and Thena could indeed come together. With the day seemingly saved and the emergence seemingly avoided, one group of Eternals return to the Domo to head off in search of their next adventure, while another group stays behind on Earth. It is the latter group that feeds one of the film's cliffhangers. Just as Sersi seems to be reunited with Dane Whitman and preparing for her happily ever after, she is literally snatched off the planet by a vengeful Arishem, who holds the Earthbound Eternals before him, speaking to them in space with their planet now relegated to the background of the shot. As it turns out, big surprise, Arishem isn't thrilled by how the Eternals betrayed their supposed duty. He also isn't nearly so easy to defeat in battle, which is why he now holds the Eternals before him as if they were misbehaving mice, promising to return for judgment. As if that statement isn't ominous enough, in the comics, Arishem is often referred to as Arishem the Judge, and it isn't because he has a tendency to let people off with a slap on the wrist and a stern warning. Typically, he has the ability to judge which planet's civilizations will live and die, and is the most powerful of the celestial hosts. The bottom line, when some future MCU movie presents Arisham's judgment, it most likely will not be good news. After a few dozen names scroll past, the screen lights back up to reveal the interior of the Domo, where our space-traveling Eternals have received word that their counterparts on Earth are being judged by Arisham. It's just then that a cosmic event occurs, depositing two space travelers into their ship. Pip, a smart-alecky, small-in-stature CG character voiced by Patton Oswalt, introduces Harry Styles as Eros, the Royal Prince of Titan, aka Thanos' brother.
I love those guys.
For Marvel fans, all of this is big news. Eros is a very unorthodox character in the comics, known primarily for his hedonistic lifestyle and hard-partying ways. In the comics, he went on to join the Avengers, where he earned the new Earthbound name Star Fox, and became as adept as putting down baddies as he was at betting women. Although they don't get into all this in the post-credits scene, Eros is the son of two Eternals himself, has frequently battled Thanos, and has comic book connections to such characters as Ultron and the upcoming Disney Plus series star She-Hulk. Not to be overshadowed is Pip, who seems to be serving as a valet for Eros. Pip is a character some fans have been clamoring for, and there was a substantial groundswell not long ago to get Peter Dinklage cast in the part. Eros says to the Eternals as the scene concludes, "Your friends are in big trouble, and we know how to find them." In the second post-credit scene, we see the payoff for a tease that Dane Whitman seemed to be making at the end of the film. As he was reunited with Cersei, who was eager to reveal all about her world-saving adventure and desire to remain on Earth, Harrington's Dane had his own revelation to make, saying that his family history is complicated. That conversation was interrupted, perhaps forever, when Arishem rudely interrupted and swept Cersei away for intergalactic judgment. In the second post-credits moment, we see a conflicted Dane in what looks to be a university building room or library, examining a strange-looking box. Inside is a sword, undoubtedly the magical ebony blade, which seems to be activating itself as Dane says, "Death is my reward, and I'm sorry, I have to try." Just as something is about to happen, an off-camera voice indicates that someone substantial has entered the room undetected. "Are you sure you're ready for that?" the voice asks, seemingly interrupting Dane's ritual. What does it mean? Well, Dane Whitman is the name of an incarnation of the Black Knight, a Marvel character dating back to 1967's The Avengers number 47. In a nutshell, this character inherited a mystical sword wielded by others who bore the same moniker, using it for both good and bad. This family history goes all the way back to the time of King Arthur, and the Dane Whitman character assists the Avengers frequently, perhaps most notably against Kang the Conqueror, supposedly the big bad of this newest Marvel phase. Also, the Ebony Blade has been known to allow its wielder to travel across various time streams, which could be very handy in a fractured multiverse. The Ebony Blade was originally supposed to appear as an Easter egg in 2016's Doctor Strange, but was dropped at some point. We might see the Black Knight sooner than you'd think, as rumor has it that Harrington will appear in 2022's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Looper videos about Eternals are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.